Well, hello, Bill.
Hey, Don, how you doing today?
Doing good, doing good. It's been a great day.
Yeah, it really has. We've had people from, again, like we always do, from all over the world. We started off with New Zealand, first thing this morning.
Yeah, and our normal host is Buster.
Yeah.
Is under the weather today. Showed up with a mask on, and so he's not joining us. So that's a good thing. Maybe we'll all stay well for a bit. But we wish Buster
absolutely
quick recovery and hope he'll be back next week. But yeah, it's been a great day. We've captured one full-blooded Yankee.
Yeah.
And another deserter, so it's a great day for us.
Well, that's good. We're anxious to hear from them.
Yeah, well, they're right here. First of all, we got Nick Short, and he's the Yankee of the group.
See, he's a Yankee.
He's full-blooded. He is.
But I'm a good Yankee.
Are there such a thing as that?
I don't know. It's a bit of an oxymoron, or take off the oxy. I don't know.
Well, welcome, Nick. Appreciate you coming on our show, and Sandy. Sandy Short's with us here today, and we have a little bit of a relationship on my wife's side. Sandy and my wife Rosemarie are first cousins, and Sandy's
see how you explain
sister,
this.
yeah, only in the South, but Sandy's sister is my cousin, and she's a half sister. So it's all legit and legal, but it is kind of weird. So. It's when we tell people that Sandy's both of our first cousins, they look at us funny. So
yeah,
that reminds me, Bill, of a song.
Oh yes. Well, this one almost fits your situation. Goes real good with motorcycle background. Not too many years ago, when I was 23, I married a young widow girl as pretty as can be. That widow had a grown-up daughter who had hair of red. My father fell in love with her, and soon the two were wed. This made my dad my son-in-law, which changed my very life. 'Cause my daughter was my mother, 'cause she was my father's wife. To complicate the matters, even though it brought me joy, I soon became the father of a bouncing baby boy. Now I'm my own grandpa. Yes, I'm my own grandpa. It sounds funny, I know, but it really is so. Yes, I'm my grandpa. My little baby then became a brother-in-law to Dad. So he became my uncle, and this made me very sad. For if he was my uncle, then that also made him brother to the widow's grown-up daughter, who of course was my stepmother. My father's wife then had a son that kept them on the run. So he became my grandchild, 'cause he was my daughter's son. Now my wife's my mother's mother, and it makes me blue, 'cause even though she is my wife, she's my grandmother too. Now I'm my own grandpa. Yes, I'm my own grandpa. It sounds funny, I know, but it really is so. Yes, I'm my own grandpa. Now if my wife is my grandmother, then I'm her grandchild. And every time I think of this nearly drives me wild. I got the strangest case of going that you ever saw. As husband to my own grandmother, I'm my own grandpa. Now join me and sing with me. I'm my own grandpa. Yes, I'm my own grandpa. It sounds funny, I know, but it really is so. Yes, I'm my own. One more time. I'm my own grandpa. Yes, I'm my own grandpa. It sounds funny, I know, but it really is so. Yes, I'm my own grandpa. Amen.
That was awesome.
So that's the McCollum family theme song or something?
Yeah. That's about right.
Allison and McCollum.
That's about right.
It's very fitting for that.
We keep talking, we'll all be related to each other.
Well, Nick, tell us what you do up in the north.
Well, in Washington, D.C., we try and stay out of trouble. I work for a company called ESRI, Environmental Systems Research Institute, which sounds awfully fancy, but basically I work in agriculture.
Wow.
And what's that mean in agriculture?
So we do a lot of mapping of agriculture. So, how much yield is going on across the United States, trying to predict forecasting crops, things like that. You all may have seen the COVID map, the big black map with the red dots on it. That's my company did that.
I see.
You wish it was your company. We wouldn't be sitting here on this front
Well,
porch.
it's not my company, it's my owner's company.
Well, that's interesting. I wouldn't think about agriculture in D.C. riding in the same car, but I guess...
I spent a lot of time at the USDA.
Yeah.
And there's the A's for agriculture, so we kind of do a little bit of that.
When I was in school, high school and college, I worked for the county weed control. And we'd
Okay.
have to go out on the maps
Yep.
and point out where Johnson grass was growing because it was
Okay.
illegal to grow it or to allow it to be grown.
Okay.
And we were hated by every farmer in town or in the county because we would find Johnson grass on his property. We would map it, report it, and then they would have to so many months or whatever it is to eradicate the Johnson grass.
Really?
And if they didn't do it, they'd get a huge fine. So when they saw us pull up, we were bad people. But,
What was Johnson grass? What was?
Well, it'll take over a piece.
It's
piece
like
of
it's like
property.
pig,
And
Kudzu
it joints.
almost.
I mean, it's
pigweed, that type
yeah,
of
just
thing.
and the root system will go under fence rows and
Invasive species
yeah,
is what
just
it is.
amazing. I don't know that much about it. I just
Well, so now they're doing a lot of stuff by satellites, in terms of identifying crops, but drones are a big thing right
well, I just
now.
pay big for it. I got $2 a day for my gas
$2 a
and
day.
$2 an hour.
Wow.
That was a lot of money.
Well, yeah, 60 years ago or more.
Well, today's dollars, that's probably what, 100,000?
Probably, I'm sure. You'd think so.
Sandy, what about you?
So I work at a retirement community, and I love it. I work with folks who are transitioning to that second or third phase of life of now we get to just loaf around and enjoy life. So I work in sales and marketing. I feel like I'm like you are in the front of the store when you're, warming up the crowd. It's kind of what I do. I warm up people and
The third phase.
right.
Apparently, I'm in that. What phase is that?
So if you think of your life broken up in threes, right? So your first 30 years, you're just trying to figure out who the heck you are.
I
and
see.
I can't afford to go, out and buy whatever I want to buy and do what I want to do. And you've got like commitments. And then the second phase is raising the youngins usually and trying to get through life and work. And then the last phase is where you have all the fun, right?
You can do what you wanna
You get
do.
to sing songs and hang out and do podcasts and greet people at the Sautee store and really do things that
as long as your health holds up.
right. But that's what it's about, right? It's enjoying that time that you have, that time that you want to cherish, and so that's what I do.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But Sandy and Nick come and visit a lot. They have a place here now, so we're going to forgive them for their parting of ways there.
Right.
But we're calling them at least part-time Southerners now.
Well, I get it. We get an honorary degree, and you can blame my dad. He was Air Force, so he's the one that, left Blue Creek, Cleveland, Georgia, put in his 20 years in the Air Force, and but every time we come down here, it's just awesome for me.
Now,
I
when you
have so
get
many
into
memories.
phase 3, are you going to move down here?
We're hoping we're going to do that during phase 2,
Oh, that's good.
right?
Well, once we get the kids,
Out of the college nest. But yeah, we love coming down here. We have a good time. There's so much to do down here. As a kid, I was so bored because I felt like there was nothing to do. When you're little and you didn't have you hauled your own tubes out into the Chattahoochee. You didn't have all the fancy companies that take you up, and you didn't have zip lining, and so now it's fun to come back as a grown up and have all the memories of what I had as a childhood growing up on the farm. And we'd go over to Don's house, and they had horses, which I just thought was the coolest thing. So we have a good time. We have a good time when we're here.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, what else do y'all do when you're here? What do you like to do?
what do we not do?
Well,
Go to every winery in the entire north of
Throw
the
us
state.
some-
That's a lot.
Well, quite a lot.
a lot of wineries. We have some family that have introduced us to some of our favorite restaurants. Don and Rosemary, we went out to lunch the other day and enjoyed a place
thanks
we
again.
hadn't been to. We went tubing down the Chattahoochee this week. What else did we do? We went into Dahlonega. Got to go into Dahlonega and walk around that area. There's just, again, there's so much to do. We went to Cherokee.
That was interesting.
We went to Pigeon Forge,
Smoky
which
Mountains.
was a little crazy, but it was fun.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and
There's
now
like-
we leave tomorrow, and guess how long the drive is? 11 hours.
I don't envy you on that.
No.
You also have some friends with you today.
We
do.
do. We have friends that live in Alpharetta, Brad and Janet, and they come up when we're here. It's maybe an hour drive from Alpharetta.
Roommate from college.
Yep. And we hit the
Miami
wineries.
University in Oxford, Ohio.
Right. And then we'll hit the wineries, and then Oktoberfest, we'll get together with them again. That's a big celebration month here, right, in Helen. Pretend we're German.
The college was Scottish.
Yeah, we're Scottish. What are the Allisons, Don?
Scottish.
Scottish too?
Yes.
So everybody here,
Yeah.
pretty much.
We should have a kilt
I
contest.
was going to say, why aren't you guys
I
wearing
wanna
your
see
kilts?
you on
Where are
that.
your kilts?
Yeah.
That's a
you-
new dimension to the store.
Yeah.
When
You know, you
you're
gotta
up there
do that.
playing.
Well,
Let's
today,
get some bagpipes.
yeah, we probably somebody here can play bagpipes. We
I
just have to
can.
figure it out.
You should start selling that in the store. We should talk to Rosemarie about that. Start selling kilts. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that would be good, at least in the summertime.
Bagpipes only have one song anyway, so it wouldn't make any difference. They could just come and honk.
Do you know how to play a bagpipe? You think you could learn?
No, I know the principle of it, but no, I've never.
It's
played
harder
it.
than it looks. Isn't
Oh,
it?
I know it is. I
No,
have
is
friends that play it.
Wow. Yeah, it looks.
Well, maybe
they
you ought
make
to
it
bring
look
them up
easy.
here.
Yeah, I try to get different friends. We have a lady who's going to play a Celtic harp for us one of these days, which is kind of the roots of bluegrass. And yeah, I've got a friend. Actually, I hadn't thought about that. I'm filling in for a friend who lives in Greater Atlanta. That I'm doing music for him in his church while he's away next month, and he plays pipes. I forgot about that. I may have put
You
the
could have
deal
like a
on him,
weekend.
and he's a
would
car
just
guy.
be like Celtic weekend or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
Maybe March. You know, that is kind of the,
Well, that's Irish though, right?
well, close enough. They all went back and forth.
Yeah, they're all related.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. You can do it anywhere you want to.
That's
You know,
right.
Everyone.
anytime, yeah. So
That sounds like a good plan for next year. I think this year's calendar is full.
I'm
yeah,
sure you
y'all
guys
keep
are
right.
busy here, don't you?
we really do. It's been a busy day. Like I say, I say it all the time, but every state of the union and every continent of the world has been in our store in the last 12 months.
Wow.
It's hard to fathom, but it's
How do they
fascinating.
hear about y'all? Do they?
You know, I guess today they hear about it. You know, they Google things, the places that they go, and Helen is a big draw. Helen's obviously a tourist town, and they have about 3.5–4 million visitors each year. And if you go into welcome centers and places like that, they'll ask what's outside of Helen that we could see
Right.
while we're in the area. And usually we get most of those folks stopping by. Some people just drive by. They are maybe have been coming by for years and just never knew what this was even about. So they'll stop and they're like, "Oh, I didn't even realize you were even open."
I had an adult lady come in. I don't know how old she was, young adult, and she's lived in Sawtee all her life and had never been in the store until today.
Really?
But she was.
What did she buy?
I don't know what she bought.
Cheese.
She enjoyed.
Cheese.
She probably
I'm
did.
sure.
She enjoyed the cider, and we talked a lot about. I told her the story. Her mouth was open. She didn't realize the gem that was right here in her.
Wow.
You know, but she said, "I just drove by it. I didn't think anything about it." You know, then we went to talk about how most people don't visit where they live. You know, they got to go elsewhere, and they've got great tourist attraction or great history right in their lap, and they miss it.
It's true. Well, we live in Washington, D.C., and I haven't been in the White House, nor do I want to be in the White House.
We
but
also haven't been to Smithsonian in years. You know, like all these free museums, or maybe we pay them as citizens, but
Right.
we never go in. We're 10 miles from Smithsonian. It's true. Sometimes you don't even look at what's in your own backyard, right?
You know, I was talking to a customer earlier today because I've lived here my entire life, and we have some of the best hiking trails. You know, we have the start of the Appalachian Trail. We have all kinds of local trails and waterfalls and mountain views that you can see. And I like to hike, and I've probably seen or hiked a third of the trails right here
Really?
in my backyard. And I guess you just take for granted what's available.
What you have.
And then people travel from all over the world and millions of miles to
To
come
hike
and see.
here.
You know, so
Don, have you ever hiked Yona?
I have.
That's a
I
treacherous.
did once. I almost died. Actually, with
We did
these
that, Brad
guys for
Jenna,
a year,
yeah.
almost died.
So we there's a nice parking lot and trail now. We used to do it the hard way. We kind of sneaked from the backside.
Oh, you'd
And
find
then-
it on your
and
own.
We rode horses up the mountain.
Oh, wow.
Really?
A lot, yeah. If you knew.
The path that the Army goes up? Because there's
No,
that road that...
we would come off the Blue Creek side, off the Duncan Bridge Road side in
Okay.
Blue Creek, and you had to kind of wind your way up to on horses. You can't go straight up. But yeah, we could ride from my house to the top of Yonah in about 90 minutes.
Wow.
Wow. It's a lot longer hike than that.
Walking.
I have to have
the
a day to recover after I do it. Yeah.
I did it once and that was enough.
But you know, talking about people from everywhere. When you're hiking, you visit with people along the way.
Oh, yeah.
And they're from absolutely everywhere. California, Mexico. I was on Yonah one day, and there was a young woman walking by herself, and she was walking in honor of a family member who had passed away or something like that used to walk. But I mean, it's just amazing. And she'd come from Mexico just to do that walk.
Wow.
And was going back. So that's odd, isn't it? That opens another can of worms. We won't discuss that anymore.
Right.
That is
But
crazy.
nonetheless, but it is, all over the country, find people that hike those mountains.
Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting, Don. I hadn't thought about that, all the hiking trails, because we've done those trails too, but there's countless trails around here,
Well,
right?
there's probably
Well, the
30
fall-
or
the falls.
Yeah.
40 in the surrounding 2 or 3 counties.
Right.
And we have maps inside that show all of those, and I need to get one and start checking them off as I complete them.
Yeah, scratching them off. They have those maps you can scratch off where you've hiked or walked.
Well, what else? You say you're leaving tomorrow?
Leaving tomorrow, so we're hitting a couple more wineries because Brad and Janet brought friends up from Alpharetta, and so we're going to hit a couple more wineries.
Go over to the cottage, I guess.
And then we'll hit the tavern for pizza. Got to
gotta
do that.
yeah.
Y'all introduced us to the tavern. We bought our house 12 years ago here.
So that's the first thing we do when we drive down 12 hours is go to the tavern.
And it's usually the last thing we do when we leave.
So we're rushing to get there before they close.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing we're not used to down here is things closing earlier than up our way. Some of the restaurants, right?
Yeah, we go to bed around here about 8 o'clock.
Yeah, but you get up early though.
We do. Get up before daylight usually.
Yeah. Well, that's because you still have the sheep or something? You still have that?
Yeah, we have sheep and cattle and a few other animals around and
What was the one sheep that was sleeping in the house? Or
Oh no, bottle fed. It was the one that was
what was the bottle fed one with?
Ruby.
Ruby, that's
Ruby.
right, Ruby.
Ruby's a mama sheep now. She's
still
had
around.
So
several.
she's still around.
Yeah, she had twins this year. Triplets this year, which is not.
Triplet?
It's not necessarily a good thing,
Yeah.
because if you know anything about sheep anatomy, they only have two faucets. So the third sheep is usually orphaned.
Oh.
Oh wow.
Is that
Or
what-
not
Isn't that what
orphaned, not orphaned, but abandoned.
Doesn't make
Isn't that
it-
what happened to her? I mean, she was an orphan, right?
Yes. So the third one had to be raised on a bottle this year.
Right.
Big shout out and tip my hat to my friend Red Morgan. He's actually taken care of the sheep for the last several months. We moved them to his farm, and all the babies were born there because we've been invaded with coyotes at our place, and we've lost a lot of sheep. And
So, the coyotes in the area.
there are coyotes in the area. That was a government experiment several years ago. They brought them in and
Really?
set them out, and they, were to control the deer population.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it's giving the farmers fits because they get calves, they get sheep and
Chickens.
So now they're all over.
and once they start a pattern, you can't break it. So move the sheep. It's probably 15 miles away to try to break the pattern. And we have hunters out there that come with special gear at night. They have night vision and all that, and they've killed some, but they haven't made a dent in it. So I'm afraid to bring them back just yet.
Yeah.
We also have llamas, and llamas are guardians for sheep, and they will actually fight off the coyotes.
Really?
Interesting.
Llamas will? Mm-hmm. What do they do? Spit out?
Donkeys will do that as well.
They
so
kick them or?
they will stomp them with their front feet.
Oh wow.
So we've been seeing a lot of armadillos.
Yep.
What's I thought they're from Texas.
They are, but they've made it out here over the years. And
we see 4 of them at the side of the road.
we call them possums on the half shell because they're the same, except they have armored. They're armored.
Yeah. It's kind of odd to
But
see
yeah,
them
you
around
see
here.
them all run over everywhere now.
They'll tear up a yard.
Yeah, they
Will
will.
they?
Oh man, oh yeah.
Yeah, they'll tear your yard completely up.
They're coming up from what, Florida or something?
Yeah, I get well that. I guess from the
Texas.
west.
You know,
West.
that's fairly new, isn't it? Just
It is. I would.
First time this year
I
I've
would
seen
say
them.
the first one I ever saw here was less than 20 years ago.
yeah, because we had them in South Georgia. And,
Oh, really?
And
You had them in South Georgia too.
and but I seem like I've seen them more in the last year than I have. Maybe they're finally populating pretty seriously now. But
I had never seen them here before.
You didn't believe me. You thought it was
I
a,
didn't
what do
believe-
you think it
I
was?
thought it was a possum or a snapping turtle.
They
Like,
sort
no,
of-
that's an armadillo.
they're sort of a cross between the possum and
Right.
the Williamson.
Kind of the shell and everything.
I've seen wild turkey here too, running around
Oh,
down by Duncan Bridge.
But the coyotes get the turkeys as well.
Oh, wow, they can
It's-
catch them.
We have found no use for them, so I hope we can.
do the bear interact with the coyote?
We have bear here. We see
I
a
know.
lot of bear sightings.
Well, on
Yeah.
Dwayne's cameras out by the
Property.
farm. Sends them down all the time.
But
Black bear.
they're pretty harmless. They get in your garbage can, turn it over, and stuff like that. But
Yeah, like raccoons.
they're afraid of people. They don't, unless you corner one. They say here, never corner something bigger than you.
Right. Well, that's a good thing
Good
to do.
rule.
It's the same with Sasquatch, right? You don't.
Yeah,
Have
we-
you seen him around?
No, no, I have to admit I have not.
We're working on a podcast though. As soon as we get him, we're going to interview
You
him.
should.
That's gonna
You
go
saw what was
global.
that series they had on the Bigfoot, and the first one was here
He was
a few years
panning.
ago.
He was panning for gold, probably.
Yeah. We just need to get Bill a Sasquatch suit.
There you go. That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
I'm 5'7" on a real good day. I'd really scare him, wouldn't I?
Get on some stilts or something.
I think you in that costume playing your song about kinfolk would be perfect.
Yeah, that really goes together really well.
That
I'll
would
think
go
about that.
big. That could go viral.
Yeah.
Gotta play it cool though.
Bill talks about the cider, and that's one of the things he does around here. He gives everybody that comes through a sample of our local cider, and we have 3 flavors, but I guess the most popular one is muscadine. And muscadine is a wild grape, a native grape to this area. You used to see them out in the wild all the time. Now you don't see that much, but we do see people have them planted. The old timers all had them in their backyard, and everybody has childhood memories of picking and eating muscadines. But I heard a customer last weekend, and I forgot to tell you, he calls muscadines possum grapes.
Possum grapes.
So the armadillo and possum comments a minute ago reminded me of that. But yeah, he called them possum grapes,
Why is it called?
I guess possum like them.
I guess. So you can use that and tell
Yeah,
Maybe
I'll
you
be-
get a pet possum to come in here and
I'm
sell
sure.
them.
I'm sure that'll be a big selling point when I'm trying to offer people have some. Would you like some possum?
Well, you
grapes?
sold me some of that, and we still have it up in Maryland. So,
Wait, you haven't drank it yet?
well, I'm trying to figure out what goes with it.
Yes, everything. goes with
armadillo.
Well,
Armadillo.
armadillo.
Armadillo and after.
Yeah, what do I
Barbecue
pair it
armadillo.
with?
it. That'd work. That'd work.
Yeah, get a little possum there drinking his little muscadine cider.
I was thinking more like vodka or something, but you know.
Yeah.
Well, people mix a lot of things with. You know that it's amazing that muscadine. I opened some in January or in December during the holidays, and then I was away from home for the biggest part of 2 months, and came back home and I went to get some grape juice for breakfast for my wife, and there's more than 2 months anyway, and we were out of it. So I said, I got some of that muscadine up there, and it sat in my refrigerator open. Now the cap was on it, but it had been open, and it was just as good as it was the day one. It surprised me. I thought
Really?
I thought it would be turned or something,
Skunked
but it
or
was
something.
really good. So I'm impressed with that. I don't know about the
Well,
others
that's
will do
good to
that
know.
that long, but
Well, I don't know. They got some fancy wine down here now.
yeah.
You do a fancy wine.
We are known, or trying to be known, I guess, as the Napa Valley of the South. So
I can't believe how many wineries are here. You throw a stone and you hit one, and they're all very unique.
I remember when they first started, and the University of Georgia and the University of Virginia came and put on a class for all
He's got good viticulture.
all the
Very good.
all the folks that were thinking about it. And Ward Gann, that you mentioned earlier, has Clyde's Table and Tavern in Cleveland. He and I went to that, and we had Wolf Creek and
the Serenity there.
Serenity
Joe
and all
was there.
the now famous wineries were there for that same class, because at that point nobody had planted anything. It was just an idea. And so Ward and I, we're there just, having fun. So we're cutting up and laughing. And in the back row, they kind of tried to throw us out of the class because we weren't serious,
Oh, you weren't serious.
But we
about
did get ours planted before anybody. And what we figured out pretty quickly is that's farming. It's just like any other farming
It's a lot of
activity.
work.
It's weather prone. It's
Well, the
drought.
time to yield on that stuff is 3 years to 5 years.
It's hard work, and you have to be on it. Like, you can't wait 2 weeks after a problem
Right.
happens to address it. You have to deal with it that day, or it's too late.
You lose the harvest.
And so both of our small home vineyards are grown up in trees now, but it is a lot of work. But I think most of those folks, they do grow some of their grapes, but they do buy a lot of their grapes. And
Import a
I
lot.
think that's a lot better business model, because you know what you're getting or what you're going to get. You order it up, you get
and
the
you get to
juice.
still sell the view.
And you sell the view and
Right.
the venue and all of the
Yeah.
different wines they make. But we do have some really good wines.
Yeah, really good. Really good. And the music in this area. This may be the new Nashville. Started out of Salty. Think of all the music that's around here now.
There
The
are
wineries, and
tons of-
y'all are doing music here?
Tons of local musicians that are just fabulous.
Well, Joe, he was a sound engineer at Serenity.
Yes, he was.
Backstreet Boys and
Produced
NSYNC. And
some big names. And it's interesting too that we have all the wineries here are not the same. Some are big and fancy, and some
Right.
are small and
Right.
quaint, and some are in between. So everybody can find their place and or take turns and move around. But it's really nice. It's been great for the tourism of the area.
Right.
It brings people primarily out of Atlanta, but other places
All
too.
over.
But they tend to spend the night. They tend to eat out while they're here.
Right.
So it helps the local economy a great deal.
When you think about it, Don, there's 24 probably wineries within,
Stones Throw.
Yeah,
right?
they
So
are.
if you wanted to do a wine tour, you're going to need more than one day,
You are, and you can start right here and
right?
be your base and go to every one of them with just a few
Right.
minutes.
They're good wines too. It's
Well, Nick, Sandy, thank y'all so much for coming by today, joining us and being on our podcast. We were just kidding about the Mason-Dixon line.
Yankee stuff. Well, down here, Maryland's considered the North.
Right.
Up in Maryland, Maryland's considered the South. So we don't know what we are.
We don't quite fit
Well,
in.
you're migrating, and that's good.
Well,
You're still in transition, but
Transitioning down to the way of life down here.
when we get you here full time, we'll get your record completely.
You can help
Yeah,
Bill with the
expunged.
possum and the muscadine selling. Well, thank you for
Armadillos
having
now.
us. We
Well-
were just popping in to say goodbye, and we're grateful that we had
We
a chance
appreciate
to
you
chat a
joining
little
us,
bit
yeah.
more and hear your talent.
Or
Your
that
song
fancy
about inbreeding.
McCollum theme song.
Well, thank y'all, and I hope y'all will come back in October. And every time you come back, you'll come visit us and tell us what's going on with you. And
I'll bring my guitar next time.
that's
Bring
exactly
your guitar.
right. Anybody hearing this today or that needs to know, we love for visitors to come, bring their instruments, bring their voice, and join in, and we just have a lot of fun. Well, Bill, until next time,
Until then,
completes another
have a
episode
fantastic week, my friend.
of the Old Salty Store podcast, Front Porch Podcast. Hope again Buster's feeling better next week, and he can join us again, and we will see you all next time.
That was fun.
Yeah, that'd be good.
You don't ever know to